Hello and welcome to ReefGrrl's Daily Dose number 4. To catch up a bit from yesterday, I decided to rinse that filter pad because it wasn't all that dirty. I don't usually do this, but I figure in the spirit of waste not, want not, I'll give it a try. And it came out pretty clean. Also, to catch up from yesterday are test results. Potassium, 400. No dosing needed there. Nitrate, 17.6. Up slightly, but that's still okay. Phosphate, 0.073. This is perfect. Looking at the 150-gallon section of the sump, the water level looks a little bit high to me. So I'm going to get out my handy U-shaped brush that I bent and clean off that strainer, because the last thing I want is for the water to back up into here. Between algae removal and I pull it off the rocks and sometimes it gets away from me, and also lowering the nutrients in here so maybe algae doesn't stick on the rocks the same way it used to, it's quite possible this thing gets a little bit clogged up. So I'll give it a bit of a clean and keep an eye on it over the next few days. There is an emergency. That's the strainer you see a little bit higher and to the right. And that leads to an emergency overflow, so if the water level ever does get backed up, it will be able to escape into the next 100-gallon. But who knows, that pipe also may need cleaning because that is a hard 90-degree elbow. So I'll have to watch this over the next few days. To be on the safe side, I checked the salinity and it was down slightly, so I added a gallon of new salt water, and I'll keep an eye on this. Okay, so several days later we still have not filled the Frag tank, and here is why. It's leaking. See along here? There's actually water underneath it, and you can see the salt creep there. This is where I first noticed it, that there's water here, and if I put a tissue under here, I could wick the water out. So that means it's got to be emptied, and we're gonna have to reseal it. It has been moved so many times. That's why I waited a couple of days before putting anything in here, just to make sure it wasn't leaking, and sure enough. All right, so we're gonna shut this off, shut everything down because it's all plugged into there. And I'm going to use the MaxiJet because I use this for a lot of different things, but I kind of suspect this hose is too short. The floor drain is right nearby, and this extension should help, but yeah, no, it's not going to work. So I've found a longer hose. I'm going to remove the one that's on there, replace it with the longer hose, and all of this equipment needs to be unplugged from the power bar anyway, so I might as well clean this up. Then I just plug the MaxiJet in, and we're good to go. Well, she's empty. I'm gonna put that media bag back into the return chamber of the sump, and then we will have to get this thing tidied up and resealed and see if we can actually make it leak proof again. So I emptied the tank. Here's all the equipment, and the tank is now in the workshop. Okay, so there it is laying on its side. My husband already took it apart. This is the bottom brace. The tank was essentially just sitting in it. It wasn't even being held on anymore by the silicone. And the back corner there was a tiny gap in the silicone, and water was leaking out of there. So we think that's where the actual leak is. So you can see he's already started to clean up the silicone a little bit. And he's gonna reseal this whole thing and then put silicone in this and just set the tank back in. And I feel pretty confident that's going to take care of the problem. This tank was drilled when we bought it, so this bulkhead was installed, I don't know, several years ago, and there was kind of a drip coming from the bottom of it, so he's also going to replace the silicone on that. So that's it for today. Yeah, not happy about the setback, but what can you do, right? Thanks for watching. And if you like the video, why not give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and we'll see you again tomorrow.